What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today, I'm going to focus in on the 3 Hart Trophy finalists and why I think Alex Ovechkin should win the Hart Trophy over both Sidney Crosby and John Tavares. I'll start with Crosby's candidacy. Third in the league in scoring, 56 points. Led the league in scoring until the final week of the season, despite missing the last month of the season with that broken jaw from the Brooks Orpik shot. Had a great year, plus 26, 15 goals, 39 assists, but the Pittsburgh Penguins played well and held on to the number 1 seed in the East without him, so that kind of hurts his candidacy. But if Pittsburgh wants to win the Stanley Cup, they're going to need him producing, and he's done just that in their playoff series against fellow Hart Trophy candidate Johnny Tavares, Johnny T. 47 points in 48 games, 28 goals, third in the league on an abysmal team that he carried to the playoffs. Let's be honest. I love Tavares' game. I've been a fan of him since he was a junior sensation with the Oshawa Generals, later the London Knights, Canadian World Junior Team. We all know, he's lived up to the hype. I mean, it's a shame his numbers aren't higher, but that's what playing on Long Island, does to you. He's -2, which that's probably the biggest thing. I got a little pet peeve with plus minus, and minus player winning the MVP. Not exactly what you order up. But back to OV, and before I go on to OV, it's like that team wouldn't be anywhere near the playoffs starting, so technically he is the most valuable player. But I like what Ovechkin did. From St. Patrick's Day onward, he had 20 goals. Now, this first half of the season, he didn't do a damn thing. He was abysmal, god-awfully atrocious. But he saved a ton of jobs at Washington. He saved Oates' job, saved the front office from saved the team from having a complete overhaul. If they tanked the rest of the season, they would have been drafting Seth Jones and trading assets. What was the entourage line? Selling off assets like Michael F. and Jackson, Ari Gold. And the way he saved jobs in Washington, Congress and the Senate should, take notes. But, look what OV did, 32 goals in 48 games. He had 6 less goals in 30 less games than he did last year. That's mind-boggling. He was written off for dead. He was out of shape. He didn't care about hockey. He was a rock star, not a hockey player. Some of the criticisms being thrown at him. But, he silenced the critics in the second half of the season and played some exceptional hockey. And that's why I give it to him. Like I said, the biggest knock on him is he didn't do anything the first half of the season. And if you want to not vote for him on that account, I can understand that. But this team would not only not be in the playoffs, but their long-term and short-term future would be a lot bleaker than it is now. So we'll see what happens. But I really think you can go any way with the candidacy. There's something working against all of them. Like I said, Crosby missed last month of the season, and the Penguins still played great hockey. With Tavares, that he's a minus player, and now playing on a bad team like that's not really the worst thing in the world. But I really have a hard time voting for an MVP that's a minus player. And then OV, he was invisible. You need binoculars. You couldn't see him the first month of the season. So, but like I said, my vote would go to OV if I had a vote, but I don't. Anyway, that's all this episode of the Power Play with CJ on why Alexander Ovechkin should win the Hart Trophy for League MVP. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the season and beyond. Later, guys.